A glorious night in West London. Some sunset. As we before we get underway, of course, the players taking a knee and making a stand against discrimination and racism in society. All roads lead to Watford, and Vicarage Road, the first semi-final in the Continental Tires League Cup, is underway. Chelsea, the defenders of a trophy. They only won for the first time last year. West Ham have never got this far, and despite such disappointment in the WSL thus far, can they cause a stir here at Kingsmeadow and deny Chelsea the chance to defend their trophy? Here is Sophie Ingle for Maren Mjelde. Melanie Leupolds, who scored twice here against Spurs at the weekend, and one of those being right out of the Sophie Ingle catalogue, really, of long ranges. Understandably so, that Chelsea are getting a feel for the ball early on. This is a different West Ham team that came here in the league game, working tirelessly under a new system under Ollie Harder. Ollie Harder wasn't in charge at the time. The task at hand for West Ham is a great one, and to inflict a first defeat in the Conti Cup for Chelsea since Manchester City came here and beat them in 2019. They have lost a shootout to Reading in the group stage last season, but in regulation time, Chelsea haven't lost in this competition for nigh on 2 years, extending their WSL unbeaten record to 33 games at the weekend against Tottenham by 4-0. Mackenzie Arnold coming a long way from home. Getting a clearance right. Number one between the sticks, Mackenzie Arnold from the Gold Coast. Brought in from the United States from Chicago Red Stars. Made the number one spot her own ahead of Courtney Brosnan. Here's Bethany England, who fancies her chances from range. It's comfortable for Mackenzie Arnold. Bethany England brought back into the team tonight. She started against Manchester City in the quarter-final. That's the hero of last season's final with her dramatic late winner against Arsenal in Nottingham. En route to that success was beating West Ham in the group stage by a couple of goals to nil. But under Ollie Harder taking over from Matt Beard. New compact, intensive, high-pressing system it's looking to instill. As Pernilla Harder is in here, and Pernilla Harder scores! And it has not taken Chelsea long to break through. Some finish. Ideal start for Chelsea in this semi-final, and how they have just sliced through West Ham, and all made by this killer pass from G, and the touch from Harder, the finish, the execution. Chelsea off and running. And a player who has just won the highest honours in club football on multiple occasions, Pernilla Harder. She was come up trumps early on here. Named to the FIFA World 11 with Millie Bright as well. And how well she took that goal. Harder's first goal in this competition. Lemma Hayes was bemoaning the start that her side made against Tottenham here on Sunday. She felt her team were sloppy, really played into the hands of Tottenham Hotspur. This time we're beaten by Manchester City by the same scoreline of 4-0. They kept City at bay for a fair chunk of the first half before, in the end, clinical finishing and the 3 points. There's Mas Pacheco back to a goalkeeper, but only as far as G now. Mielder. Pacheco cutting that out. Aside from Reading in the summer, Mas Pacheco. Just 11 days after she had signed, she graduated with a law degree from Sheffield University. Chelsea in control, Magda Eriksson. Millie Bright spreading it wide for Mielder. Touch from Leupolds and G. And now Sophie Ingle. Touch from England for Pernilla Harder. Harder to play it deep, but too deep. And Harder goes for a goal kick. As well as this game, the other semi-final between Bristol City and Leicester City to come later tonight. And it will be live on the FA Player. Kick-off at 7:30 local time at Twerton Park, so stay tuned for that. Kenzie Arnold. Forced into the clearance towards Van Egmond, who took a time really to settle in the English game, but how she has settled in the English game, Emily Van Egmond. Going in the footsteps of her dad, who was a former player internationally for Australia. Permanent signing from Orlando Pride, confirmed the start of the month. Gary was, her dad was a former Socceroo with 15 caps to his name. Daughter Emily just short of 100 caps for the Matildas. Here's Ingle, who's a centurion for club and for country as well with Wales. Harder everywhere so far. Leupolds towards Kirby. Van Egmond tidying up. Mackenzie Arnold is taking a risk, and West Ham taking a risk, trying to play their way out. And towards Adriana Leon. Emma Hayes has been in the news this week, hasn't she? With links to the vacant manager's role at AFC Wimbledon, and how she has slapped down those rumours and speculation down big time. Svitkova for Van Egmond. Leupolds getting back to dispossess Katarzyna Svitkova. This is better, and an example of the high press that Ollie Harder is trying to instill, this style to West Ham United. As he says, the better that they get at it, the more that they work on it, the longer that they will be able to compete in matches to last the 90 minutes. Well, still very new for West Ham United after having Matt Beard at the helm, former Chelsea coach as well, for so long. I'll be hoping to try and guide Bristol City later on tonight through their semi-final. Covering for Tanya Oxtoby, who's on maternity leave. First touch of the night for Ann-Katrin Berger. Fetterlein there first, but G able to bring it down. Cool as you like. From a player who Emma Hayes says will be a Chelsea legend. It's a wonderful pass to find Kirby. Frank Kirby for Chelsea, right across. Oh, and nobody can put it into the net. Well, you just wondered whether Frank Kirby might have fancied the little harder dink, as we saw for the first goal. In the end, she opted to play it across, and Bethany England couldn't get there. But the pass to find her again was perfect. Not so much the end product for Chelsea on that occasion. Here's Pacheco. One that Adriana Leon was particularly interested in chasing. West Ham have only won 2 games in the WSL this season. But in this competition, by the way, they've actually won 7 in a row. If you include their penalty shootout win against Brighton in the group stage. And did well in the group stage. They won their games against Reading and Brighton. They scored 9 goals. Had a convincing quarter-final win against Durham. The end showing their WSL class. Right underneath this. Maren Mjelde, who in the semi-finals last season scored a very important goal. It was the only goal of the game at Leigh Sports Village against Manchester United. It came late in the day. Leupolz, who's just improving and getting better and better as the games go by since her arrival. She scored the first goal and she scored the final goal of the game against Spurs here at the weekend. Mjelde. Engel, just out of the reach of Harder. She's caught on her heels. Flaherty. Enough. Waited the pass in the end to find her goalkeeper. Svitkova for Longhurst. Familiar surroundings. Once been a blue of Chelsea, along with Flaherty. Leupolz. And here comes G. And coming forward with purpose. Finding Harder. Was that a cross? Was that a shot? In the end, it comes to nothing for Chelsea. Once they get motoring, especially with G, you sense things are going to happen. UEFA Women's Player of the Year, the first player to win it twice, Pernilla Harder. She might not have been banging the goals in this season, but her movement and link-up play have been absolutely influential for Chelsea. Towards Leon. Encouragement again from the sidelines for West Ham United. It's consistency the key for them since November. Whenever they've won a game in all competitions, the next game they have gone on to lose. So you never know tonight. And it works the other way. Van Egmond looking to win it. Sophie Ingle calm in possession. And finding her skipper Magda Eriksson, who scored an own goal against West Ham in their 3-2 victory here earlier in the campaign. England, the switch to find Kirby. Now Mjelde. That was kept low, but just did hide the clearance. They're wanting a handball, but Sophie Ingle takes over. She's scored again from range. Although it's a horrible moment for Mackenzie Arnold. She's bought the ticket and yet again won the raffle. Chelsea 2 up and on their way. Well, they were originally appealing for a handball here on Jelly Flaherty. Stacey Pearson wasn't interested in that, and Sophie Ingle thought, you know what, why not have a go? But that's gone right through Mackenzie Arnold. And it's a moment to celebrate again. Squirming through, such disappointment for the Australian goalkeeper. And now West Ham have it all to do. Not quite as crisp a strike as she was able to develop against Manchester City in the quarterfinals, but they all count. Centurion for Chelsea Football Club. Achieved at the weekend. Even after she fired it against Manchester City, Emma Hayes believing that she still needs to do more to reach the next level. She brings such calm to the Chelsea midfield. Welsh international with 100 caps, which was earned back in September, third Welsh player to reach that landmark. Versatility as well from playing in the middle of the park tonight against Benfica in the Champions League before Christmas. She was slotting in at centre-back. Here she is again. Switch for Jonna Andersson. Now G. Harder, lovely turn away from Joel. Frank Kirby was there. Transition! West Ham United have got to be very, very careful. Leon, she's held that up well, the Canadian. And the switch of play now for Pacheco, up against Kirby. Two players sporting the colours of the royal blue and white of Reading. It's been a while since she scored in the WSL, Sophie Ingle. To go back to when they beat West Ham by 8 goals to 0. Back in February for her last goal in the WSL. 2 in as many games in the Conti Cup. Harder, the spaces are there. There's G, so influential. Kelly Bright. Mielda. Engel for Bright again. He was caught doing snow angels just after their game was called off against Bristol City. Original appeal for a penalty there, but Sophie Ingle, as you meant to do, played to the whistle and straight through. Mackenzie Arnold for 2-0. G back for Eriksson. What a pass. Anderson provides the cross. Plenty of claret and blue in there. Maren Mjelde slowing things down, and you can hear the messages from Emma Hayes of keeping the ball for England to chase, but she won't get that. She's certainly improved, Mackenzie Arnold, this season, in particular with the ball at her feet and her overall distribution. Clearance needed to be rushed away here. Vetterline's clearance only finding touch. Not much on for Maren Mjelde at the moment, but here's Kirby. I believe Van Egmond. Maybe back to a goalkeeper, one Australian to another. This is Grace Fisk, an up-and-coming talent for West Ham United and for England as well. Signed for last season from the University of South Carolina. Barely a year had passed since she graduated, and she signed her first professional deal in January of last year. She'd only played 4 games before Phil Neville called her up for an England camp in February of last year. It's been some 12 months plus for Grace Fisk. G for Eriksson. Work out for Harder. It's kept it low. The touch from England. Flaherty read it. They were hoping for a flag. Not coming though. Here's G. Kirby driving on. Loose ball won't fall to anybody in a blue shirt, and Van Egmond can bring it away. A top scorer with 6 goals this season, 3 in the league, 3 in this competition. Back in England, the competition's all-time top scorer. Pretty far from working in a chip shop in Barnsley when she was at Doncaster Bells to being one of the best strikers and finishers in the game. Top scorer last season. Well, the Vivianne Miedema scored more goals than her in the WSL. Here's Kirby. G for Mjelde. Leupolz. Magda Eriksson. Harder. Gave Chelsea the lead early on in this one. Now G. Kirby for G. Touch from Ingle. It was all nice from Chelsea. Chelsea's all-time top scorer, Fran Kirby. Emma Hayes believing that she's at the form of her life. Spent much of last year on the sidelines, at a sickbed really, just 4 appearances. Oh, Mackenzie Arnold. Is she to be punished? She is. Pernilla Harder says thank you very much. Chelsea have 3. And it's another error from Mackenzie Arnold, which has been clinically punished. Well, it was going to be a difficult ask for West Ham United tonight anyhow, but it's unfortunate. It's through the legs. It's into the net for a second Pernille Harder goal tonight. And Chelsea are well on their way to booking their place at Vicarage Road in the final of this competition. HG now. And for West Ham United, it'll be a case of just trying to keep the level, this confidence level really as high as can be. But you feel for Mackenzie Arnold at such a stage. A goalkeeper who is on 3 occasions voted the goalkeeper of the year in the W League Down Under. Ooh. Kate Longhurst, clear handball. But how do you stop the machine? That is Chelsea. On his side now, still. So we've not lost a game in the WSL this season. This is Kirby. They're looking for another one! And Bethany England with a very cool finish indeed, made by the cross of Kirby. And they're running riot, big time at Chelsea now. Bethany England, who scored twice in the final last season, has got a goal here. And how they have just ripped open West Ham. What a cross, what a finish. Chelsea have 4. And quick-fire goals here have them out of sight really now. Brutal, absolutely brutal from Chelsea. Bethany England with a second goal in this competition this season. The final, she described it without doubt, the best day for her of 2020. She might not be banging the goals in compared to what she was doing on such a regular basis last season, but coming up trumps when it matters tonight. We've not had half an hour yet. Here's Leupolds. Whether they can emulate what they did to West Ham United here back in February when they scored 8. Remains to be seen, but they're halfway there already, Chelsea. Where they are at the moment, though, you just wonder how on earth they can be stopped. Here is England, but Fisk is there. And he's talking about how she is working with world-class players. And now they have shown that quality already tonight. That's 8 goals in 2 games now they've conceded, West Ham United, after conceding 4 against City. Chelsea again on the horizon at the start of March. And they will play them at home in the league.
Now round the next one, now round the next one, now round the next one.
Pacheco with the throw. Made an error that led to Rose Lavelle scoring for City on Sunday. Leupold's. Harder. Arnold lets that go. Let's have a look at this goal again. Kirby, first time on the money for Bethany England. And shining lights for not just Chelsea, but for the national team as well. Excellent how they combine to see Chelsea extend the lead even further tonight. It's Fisk, she caught, no. And now G has it back. Pernilla Harder for Leupold's. Millie Bright, back to Eriksson. There's a rare error from her against Manchester City, which led to Chloe Kelly scoring. But all eyes on winning this trophy again. The comments from Magdalena Eriksson pre-match. Try stopping them, Bristol City or Leicester, whoever it may be in the second semi-final. Whoever gets through. KB wins the corner. Here he comes, and Svikova with a header there first. That's Eriksson. Arnold goes long, and nailed up underneath that. Sophie Ingle. There's a contest. It's pretty much over now, isn't it, really? Barring some sort of miracle comeback from West Ham United. But it's, I'm sure for Ollie Harder, it'll be about containing Chelsea. I'm not really wanting to be on the end of an absolute thumping tonight. And given the job, tremendous experience from all around the world. The USA to China to New Zealand, Norway, where I've been head of football development, first team coach at Klepp in Norway, top flight of women's football. From relegation fodder to regular top four place in the last 3 seasons. Coach has started coaching at the age of 20, and he believes that the WSL will soon be the most prestigious league in women's football. He's got a job on his hands, though, hasn't he, to try and lift the spirits of West Ham United, because if you look at where they are in the league, with Bristol City getting their first victory under their belts against Brighton recently, they're right in the thick of it down at the bottom. Millie Bright forward for G. been more consistent in this competition. Had to wait until November for their first win in the WSL against Birmingham City, it was. Described his coaching journey as unique, Ollie Harder. Jack Sullivan making the call to bring him in. Due to his progressive coaching style, attention to detail. It's Chelsea's attention to detail in front of goal, which has proved pivotal tonight. The fact that they are 4 up. So we're in the final 10 minutes of the first half. Ooh, now there was there a block off there on Leon from Eriksson. Referee says no. G cutting it out. I'll say for West Ham United as well, as the January has come and gone. The transfer window is closed. As Chelsea play their way out of a sticky spot, although really bright, a little off radar with their pass there. A lot of top players have left, likes of Alicia Lehmann and midfielder Cho. Rachel Daly leaving after 12 games, a loan deal from Houston Dash was scheduled to end at the end of 2020. It's just some part of the club training before she heads back to Houston. See big names, big influences. Here's Longhurst though for West Ham. It's just running out of pitch in the end. Away by Berger. Flaherty. All a success, memory serves right. She's never won this competition. Lois Joel just lost her footing. Want to win it back along with Van Egmond. A lot better this from West Ham United. Svinkova for Van Egmond now. Bright in the way. And the danger is Chelsea on the counter, led by Kirby now. Harder going beyond her. G can't find Kirby. Svinkova. And gets it back again. Czech international, over 30 caps. Leon. Link up with Van Egmond. It's a nice idea. Here's England. They've calmed down the situation, West Ham United, since that 4th goal. The ball got rolling when Harder opened the scoring after 4 minutes. Sophie Ingle again from range, although an error from Mackenzie Arnold. A second error then followed to lead to the 3rd goal for Pernilla Harder, and then just overall quality. Frank Kirby fed Bethany England for 4. It'd been even tougher to take that defeat against Manchester City. Ollie Harder and West Ham at the weekend. So he came on his 35th birthday. All about building mentality, as he says. Mjelde. Leupolz. Bright. Second wayward one from Millie Bright. It's been relatively easy at times, the way that Chelsea have been able to turn over West Ham United. Leupolz, again, that vision to switch from one side to the other. Svikova cutting it out. Anderson with the throw. So she never dreamt of being a professional footballer. Turning Chelsea down once before she eventually signed. There she is again. And near ever present in this team. Harder, likewise. Maren Mjelde. Bright taking over now. Magda Eriksson. Pacheco. It's Longhurst. Pacheco there. Longhurst to calm things down. What's the goal scorer for Chelsea in an FA Cup final in 2011 against Birmingham, although they would lose that on penalties under Matt Beard. Svikova for Joel. Pushed into her decision-making there, Lois Joel. It used to be Chelsea Academy before her move to the United States, Lois Joel. Played for the Tar Heels. She made a debut off the bench against Manchester United for the final 20 minutes or so. A moment, she said, that was utterly buzzing when she got a chance in the WSL. Signed at the start of October. Mjelde. Here's Bright. G. Nice touch. Kirby. Mjelde. And there's Harder. Hard at work, looking for a hat-trick. One player who's not involved tonight. He's on the bench in Sam Kerr. He did score a treble against West Ham United earlier in the campaign. Pernilla Harder. Search of a first in Chelsea blue. Fetterline gets it forward. Joel. As he go with Millie Bright. The approach to half-time. G. Eriksson. Back to Eriksson once more. From Millie Bright. Diminutive G. Mjelde. Kirby. So many back behind the ball for West Ham United. It's a patient sort of game, this, for Chelsea. They can fire a way through. And just before half-time here at Kings Meadow. G again. Bright. For Eriksson. Leupold's for G. Now Kirby. Can't find G. And now Leon can bring it away for West Ham United. With Chelsea trying to get numbers back. Frank Kirby chasing this down with Pacheco. And Kirby doing just enough. And that would be that for the first half. Brutal Chelsea in their finishing and how they have complete control of this semi-final. Pernilla Harder got things going with just 4 on the clock with a superb finish. Sophie Ingle on target as well from range, but 2 goalkeeping errors, 1 for Ingle's goal and then for Harder again to make it 3 from Mackenzie Arnold, and then Bethany England finishing off a swift breakaway led by the wonderful assist of Frank Kirby, and it's 4, and Chelsea have been ruthless in this first half. Final half-time here, it is Chelsea 4, West Ham United 0. We'll be back for the second half, but first let's take a look at the goals from the Continental Tires League Cup so far this season.
I'm Jordan Nobbs, and you're watching the FA Player.
Oh, that's a once-in-a-lifetime goal!
I'm Tash Hardin, and this is me.
When the ball is at her feet, there is only one outcome.
Occupy most positions on the left and the middle, down the right. But here's a chance now for Bristol City nonetheless, and Ebby Salmon might go it alone. She gets away from, and there was an opportunity, and Salmon has scored! She's got a goal against her former side, and Bristol City have broken the deadlock in this Continental Cup quarter-final clash. And now the ball has gone through to Salmon. What a chance this is for a brace. She's one-on-one with Rogers. She goes round her and she sticks the ball in the back of the net. And it's 2-0, just like that for Bristol City. The ball went on through to Ebony Salmon. She stayed cool as you like to round the goalkeeper Shan Rogers and put it in the back of the net. 2 for her and 2 for Bristol City. They decide against trying to play around with it at the back. They just got to get rid of it and clear the danger. Good delivery by Ellen. It's a chance and it's a goal. They're back in this now. Stina Larsson.
To Flint, and that is a delightful goal because she's rattled that one in the top corner.
Was not dealt with that. Leupold's! Oh, it's got to go in! Horton couldn't do enough to keep it out. Pressure from Kelly, and Kelly still, and she scored! City back level through Chloe Kelly. Floated in. That's headed on by Morgan. Ericsson's header. Back in it goes again. Orton! City lead through Lauren Hemp. And it could just be the goal that sends City through. Sent back in again. Brighton just sticks it back in. That's nice from her. Oh, they've got it! They have got it! Spectacular from Niamh Charles. Harder, all fired across, and it's right on! Chelsea lead again. Brighton. Oh, it's a fabulous goal! Sensational! From Sophie Ingle. Well, she is one for the spectacular. Just ask Arsenal.
Towards a 6-yard box, and it just needed a touch. Scoot back in towards goal and in. And West Ham have their goal. West Ham United, Leon into the box, and there's number 2. A smart finish into the corner from Svitkova. The second goal, which has given West Ham a comfort zone cushion, and then a little flick from Sissoko, and it's 3-0. And the defender on as a substitute just helps it on from Emily Van Egmon's header.
It's breathless, this at the City Ground. Brilliant final. silverware of the season up for grabs. Chelsea seeking to win their first Continental Cup. Never before have they made the final, but no club has won it more than Arsenal. 5 times the Gunners have lifted this trophy, but who will prevail today? And we are all set to go here. Arsenal against Chelsea, arguably the WSL's biggest rivalry. It's certainly a fixture that always grabs the attention. That's a great ball, and it's Wrighton to make it 1-0. Fantastic block. Back it goes to Anderson again, and Mielda's at the back post, and it was knocked down towards Beth England, who's made it 1-0 to Chelsea. Her first chance, and Beth England takes it emphatically for Emma Hayes' side. Abe with the chance to cross, and in it goes as well. It's a fantastic ball, and kept out by Berger. Caitlin Ford has switched sides here for a moment. Good ball, Nobbs! Another good save by Berger. And what a few minutes the Chelsea goalkeeper has had. Pretty even first half at the City ground, but it's Chelsea who will go in at the break. A goal to the good. They have a narrow advantage over Arsenal. They've won it more than anybody else. Van der Donk. Ford went for the return and got it, and the cross over towards Miedemann's brought it down! Oh, brilliant save again! 6 minutes of normal time to go. Arsenal with the corner. Williamson got a head to it, and Williamson's there again, and finally they've done it! Arsenal on terms in the Continental Cup final. Another ball into the box. Oh, and it's been missed by Berger! Oh, goodness me. 5 minutes minimum of added on at the City ground. Cuthbert looking for Kirsch. Nadebeck has come across. And Kerr's done well here. Gets back to her feet. England's a marked at the back post. She's waiting for it. She's got it! England's won it for Chelsea. Surely now they've won their first ever Continental Cup. The Continental Cup is Chelsea's. Hayes history makers. England the hero. Winners of this competition for the first time. A trophy that's always eluded them, but not anymore. A club that's now won every single domestic honour.
I'm Claudia Walker and you're watching the FA Player.
Welcome back to Kingsmeadow, everybody, where Chelsea are in complete control of this semi-final of the Continental Tires League Cup. They lead West Ham by 4-0. And you have to say, it has been as brutal as it comes in terms of finishing and capitalising on defensive goalkeeping errors. Sophie Ingle in the goals again in this competition, from range again in this competition. Ingle played such a decisive role in the final last year against Arsenal. Bethany England also, but Emma Hayes, she knew that it'd be a difficult task. However, once that 4th minute opener went in from Pernille Harder, Chelsea have certainly not looked back at all. We're talking about the no excuses culture of Chelsea Football Club that she has instilled here. Every player and coach must be honest about their own performance. After every game, they get the mirrors out, she says, and what could they have done better? And I'm sure they would have done that even after the Tottenham game at the weekend, where even though they were winners by 4-0, she was not happy with decision-making, composure, until they got that first goal. But West Ham have to show some composure now in the second half, not to be on the end of a hiding, really. And they did just that. They did just that after the 4th goal went in. Some bench as well for Emma Hayes to be talking to, the likes of Sam Kerr on there, Erin Cuthbert, Drew Spence, Chelsea through and through. And for West Ham United, a new half really for them now, just to go out and show everyone what they can do. Tended to score bulk of their goals just after half-time in this competition. They have scored in all of their games so far. They have been averaging 3 goals a game in this competition this season, but it's been very interesting to have heard the comments of Ollie Harder in the dressing rooms at half-time. Kirby has been lively, though she looks pretty cold out there, doesn't she? And her assist for Bethany England's goal for 4 was terrific. So we're all set and ready to go for the second half. Chelsea are 45 minutes away from a place in the final of the Continental Tires League Cup. 4 goals to the good. Harder with a couple. Sophie Ingle, Bethany England. Could have been more as well. And West Ham United restart and go at this second half. Jonna Andersson with the throw in here. Only find Katarzyna Svitkova. Just looking at the West Ham bench as well. They've got Kenza Dali there, the experienced French international. Martha Thomas, attacking option. Flagstein down here on England. Forward quickly for Frank Kirby. Big save from Arnold. Should be pleased with that. After the errors that led to goals in the first half. Still, Frank Kirby can't score in this competition. Is the drought set to go on, perhaps? Sam Kerr scoring against Spurs, nudging it back in front of Frank Kirby as their top scorer in the league. Took it well, and Kenzie Arnold making herself big. That's in the start. She's into double figures for this season, though, in all competitions. Frank Kirby. Including a marvellous 4 and a perfect hat-trick against Reading not so long ago. Winning goal against Manchester United. Here, Saw then Chelsea win and overtake United to go back to the top of the WSL. Here's Bright. Kirby lets it run under the boots, and anywhere will do from Kate Longhurst. It's the power of Bright here. And Adriana Leon. It's out of my way, she says. Not played that many games in this competition this season. They only played a couple of group stage games, Chelsea. The City Lionesses, the tie was cancelled due to positive tests in the London City camp. Have beaten Arsenal and Manchester City along the way in this competition this season. Bethany England, and beaten away by Mackenzie Arnold. Be feeling a lot better about herself with those early saves in this second half. In from Anderson. Free header for Eriksson, just taken off the toes of England. The flag is up anyhow. Quickly raised by Chloe Ann Anderson. It's been a fairly quiet encounter for our officials tonight. England will chase. Chelsea set to extend their magnificent home record. 16 straight wins in all competitions. Ellen White's winner for Birmingham on this ground, January 19, the last time that they lost here at Kingsmeadow. West Ham are forced a corner. Time might be in the bag for Chelsea, but they still have some work to do. Flaherty and Fisk make their way up from the back. And Catherine Berger has had a quiet night compared to the final last season, where she was in inspired form to keep Arsenal out. And it's corner disappointing though. She's their top scorer this season in the WSL. Along with Van Egmond. Here she is, Van Egmond. Hangs it up. And Flaherty won't get on the end of that. She's got the very first WSL goal for Arsenal against Chelsea, Gilly Flaherty, in 2011. Says they're adapting to a different mindset under Ollie Harder, and it's been like a breath of fresh air. These things take time to develop. I think that she has been saying recently is about how she still likes to be coached. 29 years of age now, so much experience that she's got under her belt. She's still willing to learn new things. A true inspiration, not just for West Ham United, but for the women's game in particular as well, Gilly Flaherty. Harder with the touch on. Flaherty back now for Grace Fisk. encouraging this from West Ham. Ingle gives away the free kick. And the West Ham bench pleased, very pleased. West Ham had made the quarter-finals before, but they lost to Manchester United. First time in 3 appearances in the Conti Cup that they have made it this far. Pacheco and Leon. Leon plays it in, but too close to Anne-Catherine Berger. That's really that she's had to do, and Kirby has been sent away. And Mackenzie Arnold doing her bit. And it was very nearly Berger to Kirby, just as it was for the winner against Manchester United here not so long ago. Bright gets away from her. Reddish. And through for Van Egmond here. Oh, touch just lets her down. Gets that right. And there could have been problems for Chelsea. Well, they've been expecting the response, certainly, in this second half. Had a big moment that. Full credit to this response from West Ham. It will be Leon to take this corner. Touched on from Fetterline, and there was Grace Fisk, and denied by Berger. Having had very little to do in this game, called into action to deny Grace Fisk here. Again, it was messy. Chelsea all over the place, really. And Fisk denied a goal. It would have been a rare goal for her, having never scored a senior goal in her career. From Leon again. Better delivery this time. Berger unconvincing. Now Longhurst. Just to drill it towards Leon, but only as far as G. This is a different West Ham team, isn't it? Now Reddish. Leupolz. It's rather sloppy from her, which is very uncharacteristic of her. Fetterline. Against England. And still, the German wins it. Leon to chase, and that is all that Millie Bright could do. Leon. Able to wriggle away. Now Flaherty. Half-time, a chance for Ollie Harder to get some messages across. He was talking in the build-up to coming into the job. It had just been announced of how he wants to develop a sense of who West Ham United actually are. And as he said, Rome wasn't built in a day. One of the biggest challenges coming in mid-season, nothing towards the previous coaching staff, he says, but Needs to implement his ideas. He's certainly doing that. Saw it in stages in the first half, but individual errors and quality in the end, putting Chelsea exactly where they are in this semi-final. He could be very pleased with the way things have gone in the first quarter of an hour of this second period. Here's G. Baker was caught. But it shows the intensity of West Ham United leading the way from the front, Adriana Leon. She's going to get a yellow card as well from Stacey Pearson. First yellow card of the game. I don't think she can have many complaints. It shows the desire, though. Hasn't scored in this competition, Adriana Leon, this season. She scored once against Crystal Palace last campaign. Just been called up to the Canada squad for the She Believes Cup, along with Jessie Fleming of Chelsea. She's a fighter, there's no doubt about that. She's one of the more vocal on the pitch as well, is Adriana Leon. And that's what he needs, especially with the team down in 10th at the WSL. Just 2 points from Bristol City at the bottom after their victory against Brighton. Oh, and Baker. Adriana Leon has got a number, certainly, at the moment. There's England. And Eriksson. Can West Ham United turn this pressure into a goal? Sorry, not to be taken in the right place. Here is Van Egmond. Engel away. Don't forget, there's more Continental Tires League Cup action for you later on tonight. Bristol City against Leicester in the other semi-final is live for you on the FA Player, 7:30 local time. As it stands, who will be facing Chelsea in the showpiece at Vicarage Road in Watford? We're going to see some changes. Hannah Blundell to come on, and we're going to see the introduction of Jessie Fleming. Jonna Andersson making way for Hannah Blundell, who's got a handful of appearances in the WSL this season. She came off the bench at half-time for Maren Mjelde against Spurs at the weekend. Chelsea through and through. G makes way. And we're going to see Erin Cuthbert as well as Jessie Fleming comes on. And Melanie Leupolz gets a rest on the hour. Erin Cuthbert scored a fabulous goal here in the 8-0 victory back in February against West Ham. A real stunner. Play lost out to Caroline Weir for Scotland Player of the Season. Here's Harder. Into the thick of the action, Cuthbert. Harder. The flag up. West Ham, big game, big game coming up. And they face Bristol City in Dagenham at home. Next up, and then against Brighton too. Two games that could absolutely defy their season. Chelsea got a couple of home games upcoming, one of those being against Arsenal. Here at Kings Meadow, got to get past Brighton first. Midweek matches to be played. And some big ones as well, with Chelsea against Arsenal and the Manchester derby as well. City against United. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating how it's all going to unravel at the top end of the WSL, and you can see that game between Chelsea and Arsenal, don't forget, here on the FA Player. Here's Fisk, a little like handball from Kirby. Fisk has it back again. Grace Fisk, why not? Well, it's been a second period so far, where the vast majority of this game is being played in Chelsea's half. They are containing West Ham United, but Chelsea, the standards that are set by Emma Hayes, I'm going to be too impressed. Well, full credit to Ollie Harder and the mentality of this West Ham team. Forcing the issue. Leon's in here. Adriana Leon. What a block by Eriksson. A captain's challenge, keeping West Ham out.
Hold the ball up in the highest areas.
And the call from Emma Hayes.
Turning it over.
And to keep hold of the ball. And to move up as well and put some pressure on West Ham, because they are having the run of it at the moment. You think of their games as well coming up, as well as playing Chelsea again at home. They've also got Birmingham on the horizon into March. Some huge games for West Ham. Simply if they are to stay in the WSL. They've only won twice this season. Goals have been an issue too. They've only scored 13 times. It is Cuthbert for Kirby. Up against Flaherty. Kirby holds it up. Oh, that's a good blow by Fisk. Denying Jesse Fleming. Eriksson. Wide for Kirby. Frank Kirby's cross. And it's beyond the lot. Well, Adriana Leon, she thought that could have been a moment to score a first goal in the competition this season. Through she goes, but Magda Eriksson, look at that. That is terrific. Well, the praise for Eriksson from a coach. England's offside. Emma Hayes says that Magda Eriksson mirrors her, mirrors what she wants to do.
Lower, Ace, lower for the second.
Actually believes that she'll be a future Chelsea manager. Coaching her with being a top coach in mind as well. Emma Hayes talking about her captain. Recent scorer as well in that record-breaking game against Aston Villa, which saw them break the unbeaten record in the WSL. Pacheco taking it on. Pacheco staying in the palms of Berger. Radish. And blocked for Joel. And then Van Egmond over. Well, they're going to get a corner, are they? It doesn't look as though they are, but this is so much better from West Ham United. And a cup-tie feel to proceedings now. Van Egmond in the end can't keep her effort down. Player opened the scoring against Durham in the quarter-final. Goals against Reading and Charlton as well. Says that she's delighted to have found some stability in a turbulent time for football. Turbulent time for everyone. He's pretty much played in all corners of the world, from Australia, the United States, Germany, now in England. Back home. Last season at Melbourne City. Both coaches more involved, really, in this second half on the sidelines. Here is Fleming. Mielder away from Longhurst rather easily. Mielder towards Kirby, looping. Oh, it could just work out for Kirby, and it has done. And Chelsea do have 5, and Fran Kirby is a goal scorer in the Conti Cup finally. A barren run is over for her in this competition. It's another disappointing one for West Ham to concede, having been on top for much of this second half. But Fran Kirby, who created the 4th, now scores the 5th. Spin of the ball, working out perfectly for Chelsea. Again, it's unfortunate for Mackenzie Arnold. Fran Kirby on target in the Conti Cup for her 19th goal in this competition. And that is just how, when you're on top and you need to take your chances, on a side with the quality of Chelsea could just go down the other end and score. An element of fortune to it, but Kirby getting her reward. Or just about getting her clearance away. Fran Kirby's first goal in the Conti Cup since she scored against her former club Reading in 2019. More changes set to be made, and looks like Guru Wrighton is going to be coming on, who had such an influence in the quarter-final against Manchester City. And she scored the 3rd goal for Chelsea that night in extra time. Give Chelsea the lead again. Blundell, coolly done. That's Fisk. No problems for Berger. We'll see Martha Thomas come on for West Ham United as well. Spent much of the start of this season on the sidelines with an ankle injury after she rolled it in pre-season, but to get a run of games. A chance to get a run out here tonight inside the final 20 minutes. And here she comes, and she will take the place of Katarzyna Świerkowa. It's pretty much been on the fringes tonight. The Czech Footballer of the Year. They did 7 years at Slavia Prague. She won 5 league titles, 2 cups. Before making the move to West Ham, and Martha Thomas. Well, they got the 1 WSL goal this season in a 4-0 victory over Bristol City at the end of last year. 1 goal in this competition at Charlton. She wasn't used at all against Manchester City on Sunday. Here is Thomas, first touch, holds it up nicely. Finding Fisk. Reddish, just let it run away from her. Blundell coming in and getting a touch. One of the longest serving players at the club, Hannah Blundell, along with Drew Spence. It's away. Here's Flaherty. Chelsea well on the way, and they're well on the way to extend an unbeaten run, a winning run, and that will go to 10 in all competitions. Last team to beat Chelsea was Everton back in September in a FA Cup quarter-final at Goodison. However, that was in last season's FA Cup competition. Everton going on to lose that FA Cup final to Manchester City. We are going to be seeing Drew Spence along with Wrighton pretty soon. There they are, ready to go. And the final messages. Just hang fire with the changes. All the games and rearranged games need to be played as well for Chelsea. Forget they've got Champions League action to come. 2 in March when they are into the last 16. They've beaten Benfica by 8-0 on aggregate. Draw to be made this month, and the first leg to be played at the start of March. Fleming. Harder. Get away from Flaherty and Fetterline. This is a Chelsea team who've only conceded 9 goals throughout this campaign. Extraordinary. In from Blundell. They've got 5 to their name tonight. Harder wins it fairly. Sophie Ingle. Now Mjelde. Fleming again. Kirby. Kirby once more. Surely Harder's offside, and she is. She didn't want that, did she? Now the changes. So Magda Eriksson's going to get 76 minutes or so under her belt. The captain makes way. And Drew Spence comes on as her replacement. Chelsea through and through. She clocked over 200 appearances for the club against Benfica recently. Longest serving player for the club, and Guro Wrighton. She comes as well for Fran Kirby, who's made her way off of the shortest possible point. goal and assist to a name tonight. Not a bad evening's work for Frank Kirby. Flaherty with a wonderful header. Longhurst with Fleming. Arnold for Reddish. Awkward height for her. Cuthbert charging on. Spence.
Stay in front of that one, Drew. Good.
Mielda, nowhere to go.
Good positioning, Aaron.
Here's Spence for Cuthbert. The two substitutes combining and the switch of play. Only finding Reddish. And there's Harder. Encouragement from Emma Hayes, who said after their record-breaking win against Aston Villa, this is the best side that she has ever had. And this team will go down in history. Certainly will. It's all about getting it right as well in terms of recruitment too, the type of player. Said they could be the best in the world, but if they're not committed to the ambition, overall ideas, Badge deserves the best, she says. Harder. Spence. Cuthbert. Thought about it, didn't she? Spence. Switch is good for Blundell. Hannah Blundell taking it on, hangs it up in there. That's Mielda. They're just starting to find their groove again, that freshness of the subs being brought on and having an influence. Here's Fisk. Look at the heads. Who will face Chelsea in the final? Will it be Bristol City or Leicester? We'll find out later this evening. Live with us on the FA Player. 7:30 local time kickoff. The second semi-final of the Continental Tires League Cup. Blundell keeps it in play. Here's Harder. And on she goes, and keeping herself onside now, Guru Wrighton. And the pass for Harder! Should have been the hat-trick, but flags up anyway. And she couldn't have hit that any harder as well, could she? Rattling off the woodwork. West Ham, I think in the build-up to this, felt that they should have had a free kick. It's been a little quieter in this second half. The German Bundesliga's top scorer last season, when she scored 27 goals in 21 games. Clash of heads here, Bethany England. Laura Fetterlein. I'll take all the precautions here with a head injury. Committed from both players. So make sure that Vetterlein and
Doc's prepped me for this, and it's actually don't come into play from Sunday.
England making sure that they're okay, and concussion rules and new rules don't actually come into play until the weekend. This is how it all came about. Oh. She'll have felt the full force of that, Bethany England. And Laura Vetterlein too.
My doctor's briefed me.
The concussion and extra sub rule not to be coming in until the weekend. It will take place across the board in England and in the men's game and the women's game too. Chelsea free kick. Drifted in. They're away by Van Egmond. And that was Thomas. Taken down by Blundell. Harder. England in the centre, beyond Wrighton. Drew Spence. Through a crowd of players. That would have been a real moment for her. She scored a couple of goals in last season's Conti Cup against Spurs and Crystal Palace. For 45 goals for Chelsea. First player in Chelsea women's modern era to reach 200 appearances. Van Egmond keeping her composure. Chelsea fighting from the front this time. Led by Bethany England. Fleming. Now Spence. Chelsea, who are cruising into the final of the Continental Tire League Cup. For a second season, they will be there in the showpiece final. The Arsenal have ever won it twice in a row. Sophie Ingle. Blundell been really bright since she's come on. Here's Harder. Pernilla Harder! Fantastic! That's some way to wrap up your first treble for Chelsea. Terrific goal. And that's 6. Well, she was the one that started the scoring trail tonight with a well-taken deft finish. An element of fortune for the second goal, but that is just class. Some player. So in Bundesliga and Cup doubles in her time with Wolfsburg. And she's looking for more Cup success now with her new club, Chelsea. You would have put it past them, would you? As well as going on to claim another WSL title. Maisie Barker coming on for a run out tonight. Great experience for her. Just 18 years of age. She came on for a WSL debut against City on Sunday for the final 20 minutes or so. Club debut came in this competition in their away victory at Charlton back in November. Promoted into the first team settings at West Ham United. At the start of this summer, or last summer. Here's Cuthbert. And the switch to find Blundell. Wrighton couldn't take it with her, but she's got it back again here. Carol Wrighton. Harder. Closed down quickly. Here's Spence. Chelsea just getting a grip on things again. They've been second best for the first half of this second period, really. They're going to get more goals, perhaps. Harder's there. Been quite able to connect. West Ham will keep going, though. Towards Leon, Bright, and Ingle taking control. Sophie Ingle just dropping back now, playing in that central defensive role alongside Melly Bright, as Spence just taking up that role in the heart of the midfield. Blundell, Cuthbert, Spence, Fleming, England, nicely done. Bethany England in towards Harder. And it's constant now from Chelsea. Melly Bright. Right, and not quite on the same wavelength. Confirmation of the change. And there is Maisie Barker. An experience it will be for her coming up against the talent, the world-class talent, as Emma Hayes puts it, of this Chelsea team. And Chelsea is 3 minutes away from well and truly being in the final. It'll be confirmed. It'll be either Bristol City or Leicester they will face. Confidence from Barker. Melly Bright. West Ham have offered so much more in this second half, and it's full credit to them, but again, fortune favouring Chelsea with Kirby's goal, and just class from Harder to wrap up the hat-trick tonight. Here is the Dane again. Harder striding away from Longhurst. Pernilla Harder taken down by Longhurst. She'll get a yellow card for this, surely. And a free kick. And a telling position for Chelsea. So maybe have the final say on the occasion tonight. She was always struggling to keep up with her, wasn't she, Kate Longhurst? West Ham's players' player and hammer of the year as well by fans for last season. Cut her open, she'll bleed claret and blue. Huge West Ham United fan growing up. Take your pick, who's going to have a go at this? Oh, and it's off the bar from Wrighton. Back in by Cuthbert. And Spence. Nearly out of the ground. That would have been one way to wrap up this cup tie. Terrific execution. Wonderful effort. There's no way Mackenzie Arnold was getting anywhere near that. And so close she was. It's all over, and Chelsea head to Watford. They will play in the final of the Continental Tires League Cup for a second successive season. Pernilla Harder with her first hat-trick for Chelsea. And a 6-0 victory tonight against West Ham, who offered so much more in the second half, but it was a first-half blitz with a couple of goals for Harder. Sophie Ingle getting in on the act as well with another long-range effort. And Bethany England too, having her say on the scoring tonight. Frank Kirby added another one in the second half for Chelsea, but it's Harder's night, it's Chelsea's night, and it's another blue day for Chelsea. And how on earth do you go about stopping this machine? Because they have been ruthless tonight, they really have. And it will be Bristol City or Leicester to come in the final in March. West Ham offered a lot more in the second half, but in the end, Chelsea just far too good and winners tonight by 6 goals to 0.